Welcome back to Open Topics, episode number 10. Yeah, I haven't done one of these in like a month because I couldn't think of anything to talk about. This time I do. This episode, I'm going to talk about Y: The Last Man. I'm talking about things I liked about the series and what I did not like about the series. Let's start with first some positive stuff. What things that I liked about the series? I love the artwork. The artwork is fantastic. I like the story. It's actually pretty good. The main characters, all three of them, are really good. The one I actually had zero problem with was Dr. Allison Mann because she was absolutely fantastic character. Nothing I did not like about this character. Cannot say the same thing about Agent 355 and the main character. And that's really it. There is tons of negative when it comes to me and Y: The Last Man. Number one, a lot of the characters are really stupid and are also morons and uninteresting and do the stupidest things for the stupidest reasons. For example, the main character's mother. Even though she has a couple pieces of very good dialogue, most of the time this woman is a complete moron. I mean, here's a good example. For some reason, even though she's a congresswoman, she refers to herself as representative. Like, oh, get with 21st century. Last time I checked, this is U.S. Congress, not the state legislature. So it's okay for you to be called congresswoman. Yes. Now, the two pieces that I did like that she did is that she was against a stupid bill that was going to give foreign aid to abortion clinics in foreign countries. Yes, that was good. Another really good piece of dialogue was her saying that to these group of these ladies who are widows of dead senators, because almost like 99% of the men were all killed except for one. And he says, "This is not a royalty. This is politics. The only way that you can become a senator is if the governor of your respective state appoints you." That is actually very good dialogue, and it's, from what I've heard, it's actually very true. I've seen this a few times in fiction where a senator dies and then the governor simply appoints a replacement one. One show I've seen this in is actually Murder, She Wrote, where they had an old senator die, a heart attack, so they appoint the main character briefly to pretty much finish up about 3 months as basically finishing up her term. Okay, this is, from what I can tell, completely true. And these women are demanding their husbands' jobs. You can't simply just tell the president, by the way, she is the president, so I think she refuses to be called that. Yeah, this is another thing I didn't like about the character. Despite the fact she legally inherited the role of president, and this I thought was really weird. Apparently, the entire cabinet was made up of guys. Okay, the comic was released in 2002. Now, let me look up President Bush's cabinet. He was the president at that point. Let's see. Did he have any women in his cabinet? Let's take a look, shall we, at that particular point in time. Let's see if I can find his cabinet here. Okay, here's the presidency. Let's see if I can find his cabinet. Okay. Of course, they don't mention exactly who is the president in this universe. It could be Bush. It could have been Bush. But Brian K. Vaughan doesn't state it at all. No, he doesn't for some reason. I don't know why. Let's see if I can find his cabinet. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the man's cabinet because I'm trying to look at Wikipedia to see if in fact it has his cabinet on here. I'm not seeing his cabinet. I know for a fact that I believe his cabinet did have women in it. Let me find it here. Because generally they actually have. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. I'm trying to find it here. Because if I remember correctly, he did have for his cabinet. If I can find it here. Okay, let's see here. For his cabinet, let's see. I'm trying to find it here. I can't seem to find exactly like. Oh, here we go. Found it. Okay, here we go. Here is his cabinet. Okay. Alright, at the time of this, yes. No, actually, no, that's not correct. Let's see. Okay, the Secretary of Agriculture at that point was a woman. Yep. Let's see, was there anybody else? Let's see. The Administrator of Environmental of the EPA was a woman. And that was it. Yeah, in real life, the President Bush had 3 women in his cabinet. And yet, here in this timeline, apparently all of the cabinets have guys, which is really weird. I would think, though, it's 21st. It's not the 40s anymore. Now, there are female congresswomen. Fine. But why in the world did Brian K. Vaughan have it where, in this universe, the president had his entire cabinet of men? That's probably one of the dumbest things that a president can do. I mean, take a look at our current president, Donald Trump. He has like several women in his cabinet. Wonder who happens to be the wife of Vince McMahon. Yes. Is she Secretary of Trump administration? Yeah. But the entire line was basically left, and she was next in line. And despite the fact she was called frequently President of the United States, she refused to be called that, despite the fact she is, and she sat in the Oval Office. And she refused to be called President. Yeah, and she did very moronic things besides that. Let's see, she locked up her own son in the vault, and forgetting the fact that he's an escape artist. He got out of there in less than 5 minutes. And then, even though that apparently she sent her son off with Agent 355 to fight Dr. Awesome Man, and of course finding her son's, have her son find his fiance, go to Australia to find his fiance. Apparently, she has amnesia. I don't know if she had Alzheimer's or something. Apparently, oh yeah, she thinks that apparently 355 kidnapped her son, despite the fact she was the one who sent out Tudor. That's very contradictory. And Brian K. Vaughan wrote this. The entire series. Never had villain writer. And she sends the Israelis to go find her son. I'm thinking, oh yeah, and the Israelis, for some reason, I have no idea why in the world this is. Yeah, the Israelis, our allies, in real life, are portrayed like complete morons. Well, their leader, anyways. Yeah, they pretty much decide to, oh, let's see here. They come to our country because apparently they find out that apparently there's one guy still alive. Now, she doesn't know he wants to kill him. She wants to take him to her country. I would think a lot of people will visit Israel. But last time I checked, female Israeli soldiers are not this stupid. Yeah, and then later on, after she's arrested for doing the crap that she was doing, despite that, from what I could tell, was a legal tribunal. And then for some reason, despite the fact she was pronounced guilty of all charges, her 2 guards gunned down the judge because she paid off the guards. Wow. I don't see how. Another really bad group. Now, there's 2 really terribly written groups of characters in this series, besides the Israelis. One is the Amazons. It's like a group of women who just come together right after the whole death of all the guys in the planet, and they all cut off one of their breasts for some reason. Yeah, this is never explained in the series of why the heck they do this. Did these women have breast cancer? Were these people repeatedly beat by their husband or boyfriend or whatever? Never revealed. And I have another problem with this group. The fact that the main character's sister joins the group for no explained reason. At all. And then she turns on them and becomes a good guy. I like it when she turned against them because it was really stupid. Oh yeah. And one of the towns that they visit, basically, is a town that's full of women. Fine, whatever, no problem with it. Apparently, all of them are ex-cons. And after hearing what the crimes are, I'm like... And he gets upset the fact these women have criminal records. Something basically like assault, robbery, fraud. Are any of these women like murderers or rapists? No. Or like 2 or 3 women actually reveal exactly what the criminal records are. Yeah. And apparently the day all the guys were all died, that were wiped by most of the men in the planet, apparently that was the day they got released. They all got out of jail. As for how they got out of their jail cells is weird. Because what I know about prisons, they do have female staff at the prison. Like, okay, if in fact that the prison was run by a guy, let's say if it is, I think I've heard prisons run by women. Okay, what about the female staff? Did they all just abruptly leave for the day or something? No idea, because this prison is never thoroughly explained. Though, it is nice the fact they put people in that prison. They put the Amazons in that prison because they killed a woman. Innocent woman. Yeah, another group of women, who all got killed by the way, they never show up after like a quick few issues, is the Sons of the Union. Or, excuse me, the Sons of Arizona, as they call themselves. Where they burn the American flag, and they are cutting off half the country, starving them to death, for no reason at all. And then pretty much all of them, but one, are killed by Agent 355. Yeah, their motivation, there is nothing to these characters at all. Like, seeing these characters die, I felt nothing. At all. Because these characters are so stupid. As a matter of fact, the person who caused the entire plague in the first place is one of the worst villains I have ever seen in a comic book. Like, wow. And the person who causes is a guy, and the only other guy alive. Who is it? The father of Dr. Allison Mann. Wow, this guy is so stupid. He's also a moron. And the guy is basically an adulterer. I'm not kidding about this. The guy is an adulterer. Because he openly cheated on his own wife. With his assistant. Who had 3 freckles on her cheek. As for why he did this for, never revealed. Because that's one of the dumb things about the series, is that with the exception of a few characters, a lot of the characters do not get developed. My personal guess is Brian King Vaughan did not get the time to develop these characters. At least in the case of Runaways, I remember reading it, at least he developed all the characters in that series. And Saga, he does the same thing. Excuse me. In this series, a lot of these characters get nothing. I have like no reactions to people dying at all. Like in the case of when the president died, who was Yurik's mother, when she died, which was kind of predictable, it was shocking. I was actually surprised of who actually killed her, but her dying didn't surprise me. Who killed her was not exactly full surprise. I was a little bit surprised at it. Yeah, and then for some strange reason, by the Pendulum issue, seems like maybe you're going to do a little more story here. And then the series hits abruptly cut off issue 60, where the series had to jump ahead 60 years in the future for no explained reason. I know manga have a reputation for doing this, for jumping ahead in the future, but not 60 years. Like, I think the first I've seen is maybe like 10, 15 years. That's actually the biggest time jump I've seen for whenever a manga series ends or during the course of manga. But this one was 60 years. And Yurik was still alive, and apparently he was put in a mental institution for some reason. And he was surrounded by monkeys. Yeah, a monkey. Yeah, there was a male monkey in the series. I thought was hilarious. And he's probably one of the best characters of the whole entire series. Now, I hope to God, when they adapt this series, please, for the love of God, make the other characters, aside from the main three, interesting. And don't make all the characters complete morons. Yeah, and the one other male guy who actually appeared in the series, aside from male astronauts, the one who Congresswoman Brown was talking to, yeah, as for this guy dying off screen, I was so happy because this guy was so stupid. Didn't care for this character at all. Alright, not much else to say. I hope that when they actually adapt the series, they do a good job with it. Stay true to exactly what Brian K. Vaughan was presenting. But, yeah. Like I said, my biggest problem with this series was the characters. Not the story, the characters. Well, not all the characters. Most of the characters I didn't like very much because they were uninteresting, they were morons, and they were stupid. Yeah. Also, there was one thing I didn't like about Yurik, and that was the flashback did for him, where apparently him and another boy actually sort of did it when he was younger. I'm like, seriously? We had to do this flashback? Yeah, it's by far the stupidest flashback I've ever seen. One thing quite surprising about Dr. Man's father, apparently he didn't have a problem with the fact his own daughter was a lesbian. At all. Yeah, no problem with it at all. Though I would think you have a problem with it, but nope. Yeah, this is actually something. It's actually the second time I've seen it in a series where one particular parent has no problem with their daughter being a lesbian. The first time I remember seeing it, I mean, this has also been shown in episode of Supergirl where Alex Danvers' mother has no problem with the fact her daughter is a lesbian. No problem at all. In the case of this series, it was actually a surprise. In the case of Dr. Man's mother, who was also a complete moron, who apparently stabs her girlfriend for no reason, like she heard voices, so she stabs the nearest person she can find with a freaking katana. Why? No idea why. It's really weird. But yeah, not much else to say. It is a good series, but a lot of the praise is not well deserved when it comes to Y Last Man. Like, I haven't heard much of the other praise. I mean, I'm sure that the artwork's been praised, some of the characters have been praised, but excuse me, I'm sure a lot of people may have had a problem with the other characters. If anybody wants to say in the comments below what they felt about the entire 6-issue series, please leave your thoughts down below, or do a response video to this one. See what your thoughts are overall in this series. In my opinion about the series, another thing that would improve it is if it was slightly longer than 60 issues. Yeah, for a comic published by Vertigo, this is not very long. Preacher was longer than this by 6 issues. I mean, quite possibly by far the longest series published that started under the Vertigo imprint, not basically was added to the imprint like after the series started, was Fables. I'm going to talk about that in the future, by the way. But yeah, also, when it comes to the whole thing of the whole Vertigo stuff. Like, there is swearing in the series, not a heck of a lot. There was a lot during the first couple of years of the series, and then all of a sudden they really tuned that down. It's still occasionally there, but not as much as they were started when the series started. How about nudity? Very little of it. Yes, there was actually very little nudity in a Vertigo comic book. I'm not kidding. It was very little of it. In the case of characters having sex, this only happened 4 times in the whole series. Yeah, I'm kind of like, that was a bit of a surprise. Yeah, it only happened 4 times. Twice with the main character, and at least a couple times with Dr. Man, though, in case of her, she slept with 2 women. The first she slept with Agent 355. That was kind of predictable, but it was a bit of a surprise. In the case of the second woman, yeah, it was completely predictable. The only thing I didn't like about it is the fact that apparently the place ended up was a freaking morgue. Like, why in the world would you have sex in a morgue for? It's so bizarre, especially when you surround up a bunch of dead bodies. Yeah, give what you will. Okay, so that's really it for this Open Topics episode. Whenever I get a chance I do another one, I probably will do another one. I'm also planning on doing in the future some comic book history episodes. I haven't done some of those in a while. I'm talking about stuff like, I'm planning on doing stuff like maybe X Factor, X Force. One I definitely wanted to do one is on Apocalypse, because I just did a trade featuring him in it. Alright, but until I see the next video, which probably will be a Comic Corner. Probably. Alright, but see you in the next episode, next video. Bye.